All right, here we go. All right, so hi, my name is Rita Moran. I do run this group. We have a special guest, Adam Brian Dada, and
Got it.
we're gonna get started here in a minute. I'm just gonna introduce myself for those that don't know me. My name is Rita G. Moran. I'm an independent writer and filmmaker. I've been doing this for over 15, 20 years. I've written my own books. I've written screenplays. I've made a full featured movie, Bad Billy Brown's on Tubi, and I'd like to do some more. And I've been running this group for a little bit over a year, and we'll see where things go. So let's get started. Um, Adam, pronounce your last name so I get it right.
Dada.
Dada. Okay, Adam, you own Film Diner. Is that correct?
I would say I'm the owner of it, but I'm not the manager of it.
Okay. Please tell us about yourself and your collective.
Okay, so I am an indie producer. I've actually been producing for almost 8 years. I have been a business and entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur in everything I've done before for many years. For over 30 years, I've been a successful entrepreneur. And I decided in 2017 that I would try and go after the entertainment market, the film market, which I'd never really done before. So I immersed myself on sets, spent a lot of time doing everything on sets, and realized I like producing. So I started the predecessor to FilmDiner in 2017. It was just a gear rental house out of my garage. And my rule was you could only be a poor filmmaker to rent from me. We did that for 2 years very successfully. We helped a lot of poor filmmakers make better content by having professional lenses and lights and cameras and audio gear. And then I switched from being a garage run rental house to being a studio. I found a studio in 2020. Just as COVID started, it was perfect timing for me to open up a studio. When all the studios were closing down, we were the only ones that stayed up. In fact, I believe to this day, we were the only studio in all of America that never shut down one day due to COVID. Not one day. I went to bat for actors and filmmakers and screenwriters to stay open. I fought the health department, I fought the county, I fought the state, I fought the city, and we won all of those fights. They were never able to shut us down once. It doesn't mean they won't shut us down in the future, but we were able to fight tooth and nail to keep creating. So we got our own studio that I subsidize. I've been very successful in the commercial filmmaking world, meaning making ads. I've been extremely successful, and that allows me to finance the studio. So what we are as a collective is we are poorer filmmakers, actors, screenwriters, special effects, makeup, gaffers and grips, the whole deal. People who can't afford $5,000 a day for a studio. We have a studio that anyone can afford. We literally have members that pay $0 to use our studio. $0, literally. And when you use our studio, your gear is free. Your camera is free, your lens is free, your lights are free, your costumes are free, your props are free, your sets are free. So you can use the studio for free and all your gear is free. And it works. The system works. It works because everybody who comes is basically a member. So we've been doing it now since 2017. This is our 4th year, heading into our 5th year as FilmDiner. We're always growing, always giving people opportunities to learn a new skill or to show off the skill that they have. We've helped create, I believe, 80 full-timers who had come from having regular jobs. We've probably helped 80 people go full-time in the film world to various degrees.
That's fantastic. Now, this studio is outside of Chicago.
Yeah, I did that for, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been there. It's not hard to find.
No. Yeah, so we did it on purpose. The city of Chicago is an amazing place to film. It's dedicated, Chicago has dedicated itself to the film community, but unfortunately, Chicago has dedicated themselves to the higher budget film community. If you want to film on the streets of Chicago, you absolutely need a permit. Absolutely, without a doubt. If you want to film on the street, you need to hire the police, you need to pay to close the streets off. It's a very tedious, time-consuming, expensive, boring, bureaucratic place to film. So if you have the money, I highly recommend it. For those of us who don't have the money to spend $3,000 a day just on background, we wanted to be somewhere where the costs weren't as high. So I picked. We're actually in Mount Prospect. Our address is the postal address is Arlington Heights, but we're actually in Mount Prospect, which is weird. It's just one of those weird things. And they've been very welcoming for us to have a studio there. They've been extremely amazing to deal with as a city.
Okay. And we do have some questions in the chat, but I'm going to get to those at the end. So we're going to kind of keep
Perfect.
going because I do have a lot to ask.
Go
Um,
through it.
Tell us about your equipment. Like as a person like me who's not really great with the camera, tell me what you have and
Yeah.
all
So
about
we
it.
have. So here's the great news about our gear. Number one, if you use the gear in the studio, it's free, completely free. If you want to take it out of the studio, we charge a nominal rental fee, much lower than any rental house in the world. In the world, our rental prices outside of the studio are cheaper than if you went to Mexico, than if you went to China, than if you went to India. We're actually cheaper. But every dollar you pay in rent, toward gear comes back to you in the form of you picking what gear we buy next. So when you rent gear from us, you're not giving me money. You're putting that money into a hat, and that money goes to buy more gear. So if we don't have what you want, you as a member can help guide what we need to buy next. We have Blackmagic 6K, Blackmagic 4K. We have a Blackmagic studio camera we just bought yesterday. We have a Sony FX6 high-end cinema camera, Sony FX3 cinema camera, Sony A7S III cinema photo camera, Sony A7R5 photo camera, 61 megapixels. We got a bunch of Sony photo cameras, the A7 III, the A7 IV. We probably have other cameras too, but we basically have enough cameras for our members to use every day, and we're always buying more gear. So the key element there is the more members we have, the more gear we can buy, and the more gear that members can use for free in the studio. It's an amazing system where nobody profits. None of the money goes to me. It all stays within the collective. And then what I do is I put an extra couple $1,000s a month in myself to help motivate it to grow.
Fantastic. So, um, I would like to know how you additionally you help indie filmmakers and writers and actors because I've seen a few things like you could get a portfolio picture if you're an actor.
Yep.
If you're making a movie, you could come in. Like, can I get help from somebody that's a camera person? Like, if I need some help.
So basically, the way it works is the members are all tiers. We actually have one of our members won an Academy Award for real. A couple of our members are on the Grammy nomination boards for real. These are actual people who are members of our studio, and they sometimes are available for free. They'll actually come on and help people. I'm not kidding you. It's crazy. Like, here's a guy who has an Oscar on his mantle, and he will show up and help out for free. But the way it works is this: members who come to take advantage of free don't get help. Members who join and then help other people, they build a reputation as helping indies. Those are the members that will get help from other members. We've had members around for 7 years who've never quit, and they're willing to help other people if those people are willing to help other people. So it's this nice, almost nebulous community. There's no force, there's no mandates. You can come and film at the studio for free and leave and do nothing else. People probably aren't going to want to volunteer on your set. But if you help out, we have regular cleaning days where we vacuum and clean and polish the studio, inventory gear. If you come for those events, you'll network, you'll meet people, you'll get to work on your skills, show off your skills and talent. It's the indie world. Some of our members can afford to pay you, and some of them can't. Maybe you're a person who can't afford to pay someone, so come and volunteer on some sets. Volunteer on sets that can't afford to pay, and then ask those people, hey, I'm helping you today. Will you help me on my TV show, my movie next month? That's how it works. We have a very active and boisterous chat on Facebook, a private chat for members only, where we're always helping each other figure out what camera should I use? Why is this light not working? What's a good lens to shoot at nighttime? We have a great community of members helping members.
Fantastic. Tell me again, you kind of mentioned this. How did you were a commercial photographer, DP. What got you really into this independent world?
Well, so what happened is in 2017, I started becoming a investor in artificial intelligence 7 years ago. Before anyone had heard about it, I was already investing in it. So I'm the bad guy, I guess you could say. And we had used artificial intelligence in 2017, and it was very immature. We'd used it to analyze Hollywood. We used it to watch Netflix and watch Hulu and watch Amazon Prime and watch NBC and ABC, and we asked AI, what should we work on? And what do you know what the AI said? Nothing. And we said, well, the AI is broken. So we spent more money on the AI in 2018, 2019, and we asked the AI, who watched billions of hours of content, what should we make that the audience will want? The AI said nothing. And we were like, we don't understand. Why? And they said, well, people aren't watching that content. They're watching YouTube, they're watching TikTok, they're watching Facebook, they're watching Instagram. So I was like, wow, this can't be true. So then I started calling up the ad departments at Netflix and Hulu and all that. And they were desperate for ads. But when I would call YouTube, they didn't call back because they weren't desperate. So I knew 5 years ago that the whole industry was switching. It was moving from broadcast linear to free to paid streaming to ad-based streaming to ad-based, what they call FAST channels. And I knew this 5 years ago. And I said, now is the time for a guy like me to strike, because I'm going to not strike like go on strike, but to strike while the iron is hot. I knew years ago that this was going to be the time for indies to actually make money soon.
Yeah, I agree. The whole industry has definitely shifted from Hollywood to online. And kind of let's pull in a couple questions with
Sure.
what you just said. First of all, do you work SAG actors with the independent work? Do you work with SAG actors?
Well, so I don't want to make any enemies, but I always do. So SAG actors have a contract with SAG. They made that agreement. I don't consider other people's contracts. SAG actors can always work on my sets, but I'm not going to be a signatory to a contract that's set in stone. I fear I've made bets that SAG won't exist in 10 years because they're kind of joining with the wrong organizations. Like, do you know how many SAG actors there are on YouTube? Not many, almost none. Do you know how many SAG actors there are on TikTok? Almost none. And that's where all the excitement is happening. Like, you can be an actor on YouTube and make $100,000 a year and have one cameraman, one audio person, and one hair and makeup person, and you're all making $100,000 a year. Whereas if you're an actor in Chicago and you're SAG, you're not making $100,000 a year. I believe 0 actors in Chicago are making $100,000 a year right now. 0. That's what I've heard. LA, New York, Miami, okay. But in Chicago, so I'm not uniting with anyone. If you're a SAG actor, you absolutely can apply for my films. Will I become a signatory of SAG? I don't believe so. They'd really have to convince me to want to sign that contract. And they haven't so far. But it's possible. If you're a great actor, maybe I would consider it. But I meet a lot of indies, a lot of non-union indies. We're filming right now. You can't see it because it's going to be audio only, but we're filming right now. And all my actors today are non-union, but some of them are SAG eligible. And I love them. They're amazing actors.
Interesting. Now, with that said, do you think, and I'm an indie and it's been rough for me to try and make money, do you really believe it's still profitable with everything going on for indie filmmakers and the way that Amazon Prime doesn't like us too much anymore and we're all getting put on Tubi and other places? Do you think it's still profitable to be an indie filmmaker?
Well, it's never been profitable to make a filmmaker that doesn't have a marketing budget. In all of history, there's never been profitable to be a filmmaker if you don't have a marketing budget, ever. It's never, because audiences need to know what they should watch. And the only way they find out what they should watch is twofold. Their friends watch it or advertising tells them to watch it. Now, why do their friends watch it? Because advertising told them to watch it. There's a lot of indie content on the internet that nobody knows about because there's no ads backing it up. I don't know the solution to this yet. I'm working on it myself. I'm developing a TV show and I'm trying to build that fan base before I made the TV show. I want to have 50,000 fans of the TV show before the TV show comes out. So what I'm doing is I'm leaking a lot of behind the scenes content because I want actors and filmmakers and crew to be fans of this future TV show by me giving away some of the secrets, how the sausage is made. But again, once we make the TV show, I'm going to have to probably pay for ads to motivate people to watch it. And if you don't have an ad budget, it's tough to make money.
You know, that was kind of my next couple questions. I was going to say, do you know anybody that's making a TV series? Obviously you. And how can you make it a movie or a TV series that sells? And you just kind of answered that with the marketing. When you said that you're kind of leaking what you're doing, are you doing that on YouTube, TikTok? How are you doing that?
Initially, we're gonna grow our Facebook page. It's very easy to get to 10,000 followers on Facebook. We've only been promoting the Facebook page for a month, and we're already at 3,000 followers in a month. So by November, we'll be at 10,000. Once we're at 10,000 followers on Facebook, I'm going to pivot them to YouTube, which is difficult. Facebook doesn't like losing people to YouTube, but I want to get to 10,000 people on YouTube next. Once I've got those people there, I can generate income. 10,000 on Facebook, 10,000 on YouTube. You can generate a small income, not a lot of money, $100 a week, $500 a month, but little income drives more income. I'm going to use that income to buy ads. Those ads will drive more people to watch, more people to comment, more people to share. It's the whole game initially is you got to buy as many followers that are real as possible.
Now, with that said, do you want to tell me what this TV series is or how they can find you on Facebook?
I will definitely tell you. I'll tell you about the TV series, but it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Everybody who's ever tried to make a TV series or has made a TV series is going to think I'm insane. The TV show is called The Tartarian. It's a long name, The Tartarian, 2 words, and it's going to be promoted and distributed on my own channel called Dissident, Dissiden. And you can go to the Facebook page, Dissident, and follow it, and you'll see some of the stuff we're going to be leaking. It's a really incredible TV show. It's like nobody's ever done what I'm doing before. It's absolutely insane, but I think people are going to really get it after 3 or 4 months. They're going to start understanding my brain, how it works, on how I'm going to do it differently than YouTube and Hulu and Netflix and Tubi. And
fantastic. Now I have a question here. Can a film student become a member of your studio, or do they have to be active filmmakers?
You don't have to do anything in film at all. You can be an absolute nobody who has never been on set before and never even thought about it. Many of our members have joined because they were absolutely nobodies and they just want to be on set. They just want to be on set to see if they want to become filmmakers or film crew. There's 2 ways to get into Hollywood. The first way is be a PA for 5 years, which is absolutely grueling. It's the most difficult, abused job in the entire world. That's 1. 2, pay to play. Pay the right person for headshots, pay the right person for demo reels, pay the right person for acting classes, and eventually you'll get a walk-on role on a TV show. But that's not how we are. We don't do that at all. You can come to the studio for free your first time, totally free. We do meet and greets. Check us out. If you like it, you can join. We don't require it, but you can come, hang out, meet people. Like Rita has said, she told me she had gone to the studio and nobody was there. I let her in remotely. She wandered around. But if there was a crew filming, I would have let you in and watch it. You get to come once for free in a lifetime. After that, become a member.
Got it. And again, just want to get that out. FilmDiner.com, right?
That's right.
Okay, we want to say that a couple times for everyone.
It's a horrible website because it's run by filmmakers, not web designers.
Okay, I have some questions. They want to know, what do you think is easier, doing a feature or a series, and what do you think will do better in marketing the feature or series?
Well, I would do. Are we talking, or are we talking better in terms of audience? What do you think the question is?
I'm going to have to get a little more detail on that, but I'm wondering, let's say maybe to sell it and to make it.
Yeah, so the best thing you can do is to have a shorter feature with limited locations and limited actors. That's your best bet. If you can stick to 3 awesome locations that are not grandma's basement, that are not your dad's garage, that are not your tiny living room with echoes, if you can have 3 excellent locations, maybe 4, have great establishing shots. You need great establishing shots, which are very cheap to do now that you can rent drones for next to nothing, and have a limited number of actors. A feature is easier because you can knock it out in 6 weekends. A TV show is difficult because getting everybody to come for every episode is next to impossible. I'm doing a TV show with an ensemble cast of 60 characters. That way, if Nick and Brian and Tracy and Rita and Stephanie can't make it this weekend, that's okay. We've got 35 other actors who can. So I think doing a TV series as an indie is probably unlikely unless you have either a dedicated cast and crew or you have a lot of money. I wouldn't do it. I'm doing it, but I wouldn't suggest other people do it.
Yeah, and you have a lot more experience and resources. And I think as a person just starting out, maybe a feature, would you agree is probably the best thing to start with rather than a series?
Sure.
I agree on
Yeah.
that. I'm curious, what is your favorite movie and what do you think makes movies great?
So it's an oddity, but I don't watch TV or movies at all. My favorite movie is from 1987. It's a surfer movie called North Shore that nobody's ever heard about. It's a cult classic. It used to run on WGN after TV shows were over, so we would watch it as kids in the 80s, but nobody's ever heard about it. My favorite movie that you might be aware of, I loved Top Gun Maverick because it brought people into the theaters. It was very politically neutral. It had nothing to bother anybody. Obviously, it did great. It brought people into the movie theaters, and I think we need more like that. But as an indie, I don't have $280 million.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really funny. If you go to my Dissident page that I told you about, DISSIDEN on Facebook, 2 months ago, I took 4 actors from Chicago, 4 actors who had never flown in an airplane before. In their whole life, they've never flown an airplane. I took them in a stunt plane and let them fly it themselves, upside down and right side up. You can see the video on our Dissident page. We're going to be doing that for my TV show. We're going to take actors who had never stunt piloted a plane before, and we're going to let them stunt pilot. I'm not kidding you. You can go watch the video on our page. So we're kind of trying to compete. I mean, we're not Tom Cruise, but we can do it with our budget. We can do cool stuff that has never been done in an indie film before. So the world is changing.
The world is changing. And with that, where do you think movies and movie making are going to go? And especially for indies, where do you think the future is?
We have 10 to 15 years left before AI allows your kid to talk to their iPhone and create a movie in seconds. But I use AI already to analyze audience participation. So I can play a movie in a church. I'll rent a church and play a movie in a church, and I'll have AI cameras in the front of the audience watching them. And the AI will analyze when they get bored or when they get excited or when they yawn or when they pull out their phone. So we're going to be able to use those tools also. I'm going to be using AI on my Tartarian project. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not going to replace actors with it, but we're going to make a better universe for our audiences to like. But we only have about 10, 15 years left before AI really shakes up the industry majorly. And we're going to I think you're going to see a big return to more localized film space. So what I mean by that is, like, when I was a kid, we used to go to the stage theater to see plays and musicals and operas. And that's kind of died because people are couch surfers. I think it's going to come to the internet where people are going to watch more local content, local to their scene, recognizable faces, but the content's going to be so high quality because of AI that there'll be a payout for it. So actors will get paid better, directors will get paid better, crew will get paid better, but you won't be making films for everybody. You'll be making local stories that matter in 15 years.
I agree. And it's already starting to happen with some of the AI. It's just a matter of time. I agree on
you
that.
Can't fight it. You can't. You have to learn it.
And they already have to learn it. The AI, speech, and that's all they need. And that's
the next iPhone in 2 years will be all AI filmmaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be crazy. You're going to be shocked at what it can do in 2 years.
I totally agree with you on that. Now, you've made some of your own movies, right? You're not just doing the
I
TV series and commercial work.
No, I've produced probably 200 films, but a lot of the films I produce, I call them charity films. Like I make a lot of money in ads, in ad filming. So I take some of that money and I give it to poor filmmakers to try and make a film. So a lot of my credits are films that are not really the greatest quality, but are giving people the chance to fail so they could step up or leave. The most important thing for a poor filmmaker is to see if they're cut out for it. I've given hundreds of thousands of dollars to filmmakers who have never edited their films. And when they try and make another film, I say, you know what, dude? I don't think so. I don't think you should do this. You didn't edit the film I gave you money for. I don't think you should make another film. So basically, I'm giving people opportunities to fish or cut bait, to go or get off the pot. I'm giving them the opportunity when I give them money and talent and crew and equipment and my focus. But I made a lot of films that were failures, but I wanted them to be failures so we could see. I've also made some films that were failures, but the filmmaker edited it. They colored it. They added the sound. They added the music. And now they're making big films. So they made a bad film with me, and now they're making bigger films without me, but I gave them the opportunity. That's what I want to do. I don't want my money to necessarily go to successes. I want my money to go to find great filmmakers for the future.
Fantastic. What do you think about film festivals? Are those worth doing anymore?
Wow, that's a tough question because COVID screwed that up. They became too online. A great film festival is one that brings a lot of cast and crew in. I like the 48-hour film festivals because you'll meet a lot of people. You will meet a lot of people. So I like those. I always produce a couple of those in Chicago every year. That's where you have to make a film in 48 hours, start to finish. You can't even write it before that. And that's a lot of fun. I do those every year. I like film festivals that have hundreds of people attend to watch the films. If the film festival's online, nah, I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't spend the money. If the film festival's in person, the Chicago Horror Film Festival is coming in a month. CJ Vecchio is the host of that, and that's a real film festival. So I would suggest people enter that one. That's actually going to be at a theater. They're going to be showing the winners. There's going to be hundreds of people who show up to shake hands. And that's where you go and you press your business card in people's hands and you network and you have coffee later. Yeah, that's good. Online only, monthly? No, I don't think so. Doesn't make sense. The Milwaukee Horror Film Festival also is one to watch out.
Very good. Now, what do you think's the best genre? What do you think that really gets the audience in?
So for money, obviously horror is the best genre. Comedy is the hardest genre. Comedy is definitely the hardest. Horror is the best genre because it doesn't have to be in English. Horror movies work worldwide. And the less you speak, the better for horror. Because now you can distribute it to Mexico and China and India and Nigeria and France, and they don't need to understand anything because it's scary.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way to make money. You can do it on a $500 budget. You can make money for sure. The hardest is comedy. Comedy is cultural. Comedy is regional. What's funny in Texas is not funny in West Virginia. So that's the variance. I would say a good love story, a good one, that's really emotional is great for a short. That's great. Coming of age, everyone writes them. I don't really like coming of age movies. I don't really feel like that they have a good audience. It's really hard to sell them to the audience. And lastly, I think if you can make something science fiction-y, that's always popular. If you can make something like a low-budget Dungeons and Dragons or Game of Thrones, if it's good story writing, you can definitely do well with that. Okay. But here's the thing. You want to know what films do well? Find out what is happening at the conventions near you. Go to the fan conventions. Go to all the fan conventions, anime, comic, horror, fan cons. Go to all of the ones near you, and you will find out what is profitable by seeing which tables are the busiest.
Yeah, that makes sense. The romance stuff seems to be more you see it on an airplane, and
Right,
that's when they watch it. Or
right.
they sit at home and they might rent it, and it's usually a high paid actor or actress in
Yeah,
it.
of
Whereas
course.
I do see a lot of indies doing horror, or they try and do some kind of science fiction or
Oh, and
something
also
different.
Hallmark style,
Yeah.
Christmas and Christmas movies, definitely.
Do you think any of the and yeah, comedies are hard. Do you think any of the dramas like like stories about people and with issues, do you think any of that
So
works?
they work, but the big problem with drama is marketing it. Successful dramas in Hollywood work because of the love of the celebrity.
Yeah.
But indies, how do you sell a drama on Facebook? Like if I'm paying ads and you're seeing this depressing film about someone with a disability or a mental illness, and you're like, I want to be happy. Like I don't need that in my life. But if you make the same story with Brad Pitt or whoever, and people are like, oh, I love him, I'm going to go watch it. Dramas are hard. I'm not saying impossible, but how do you convince an unhappy audience to want to watch an unhappy film, even if there's a payoff at the end that's happy? How do you do it?
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think of documentaries? For a while, those were pretty hot for the indie market.
I love documentaries. I think they're going to be a big hit on Tubi. I think they're going to be a big hit on monetized Netflix, on ad monetized Netflix. I think they'll be a big hit on YouTube. But the documentary is a niche. It has a small audience, very small audience. And finding that audience means you got to have the money to market. But I think documentaries are a good way to make money. They just can take years to assemble the footage, years. So I also think documentaries work well in piecemeal. So you can do a documentary and monetize it by putting short episodes on TikTok, 3 minutes. So make a 2-hour documentary, but cut it up into 3-minute pieces and then release it to TikTok and get your 200,000 followers. And now you got some money coming in.
Yeah. Whoops. Okay. There we go. Okay. Zoom just did a little flippy. And okay, as an indie that I've already made a movie, I can tell you it's incredibly hard to get people to pay, even if it's
Yeah.
like $4.99 or $2.99.
Yes.
They don't want to pay. They want it free. They're very used to getting free things on YouTube and everything else. How are
Yeah.
you going to get money from an audience, or at least make that film profitable to start paying the bills and pay back for what you put into it?
So realistically, you get about 1 to 2 cents per view on the internet. For an hour of content, you get about 1 cent. So if your film cost you $20,000, you need 2 million views an hour each, 2 million to break even. It's difficult, but you can monetize your trailers and your scenes on YouTube through shorts and reels and stories. And you can also monetize your content by selling it at fan cons, which is not easy. But if you have a good booth with a good focus and show a couple of scenes on a TV, your trailer looping, you could sell your film for $20, $25 a pop on a USB stick, which
Or
of course they can pirate to their friends,
yeah.
but you can do it. I mean, it's not easy to do, but it can be done. I mean, I have friends who've made horror movies where they've sold 2,000 DVDs at
Yes,
$25
I still see people
conventions.
selling DVDs. Yeah.
Right. So it's even VHS. I mean, people make VHS tapes for horror movies because there's a whole retro genre of that found footage stuff. So I would say your best bet is to monetize your trailers, monetize your short edits on social media, and then try and find a way to bring the product to your audience. I have a good friend. He's in. I won't say where he is, but he's in the southeast of America. He's in the southeast, and he makes his short films. They're like a TV series, but short films, similar, same actors, and he sells them at gas stations. The gas stations keep, $7, and he gets $3 for the DVD. And he just goes to the gas stations and he puts 20 of them down, and the gas station owners love it because they make money. He makes money, and he's sold $300,000 worth of content in 5 years.
That's fantastic.
But he goes every day in his truck filled with DVDs, and he goes to the gas stations and he counts the ones that are sold. He says, I'm giving you 5, give me $15. I'm giving you 10, give me $30. And the owner just hands it out to him. And then he goes to the next gas station and the next gas station, and he stocks them up. He sells them at local thrift stores. He goes to the thrift stores and has a little section with all of his episodes where people can just pick them up for $10.
Fantastic. What do you think about short films on YouTube? Is it worth doing? Can you make any money on it?
So YouTube is probably the best place to make money, but it's very difficult to get traffic. I would say if your YouTube channel doesn't have 5,000 followers, you're probably not going to get traffic enough to monetize. But if you got 5,000 followers, I think there are things you can do to get more followers. You know, have your film there, but also have your behind the scenes content. Have interviews with actors on them. Take your interviews with actors and cut them up into 60-second segments and run them on your YouTube reels and stories on your channel. This is the way you get followers. It's not make a film and forget about it. It's make a film and then constantly release more about that film to monetize. You know, too many filmmakers make a film, release it, forget about it, and are working on the next film. Well, you just threw away $50,000 in potential YouTube money.
Yeah, it is definitely hard. Now, you just gave us a few ideas of how to market and sell your film. It is hard. You know, as an independent, I've done it, and I've done some of the things you've talked about, like the behind the scenes and networking and the social media. It is hard, and it's hard to make the money back. Do you think it's worth getting representation? Like instead of you trying to do it, like going to a third party that specializes in indie films, do you think that's worth it?
So it's a chicken and egg situation. You want to have a sales agent, and your sales agent will be able to get your film on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, not the regular Amazon Prime, but the real Amazon Prime that you can't just self-submit to, and even Tubi, which you can normally go through Film Hub or whatever. But if you really want your film watched, you got to go through a sales agent. How do you get a sales agent? By having a hit film. How do you have a hit film? By having a sales agent. So it's a chicken and egg situation. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. It doesn't happen more than once. And finding a sales agent means you've got to be dedicated to a film. You have to be dedicated to a project. I work with a lot of filmmakers that also have rap albums, and they're also painters, and they're also, they got a million things going on, and I don't know what they're doing, but they're not focused on one thing. If I wanted to get a sales agent, I would make one film, and I would dedicate a whole year. I'd go to American Film Market. I would go to all the big festivals. I would go to all the conventions, but that means taking a year off. And that's not easy to do if you're a filmmaker. Like if I was a poor filmmaker and I wanted a hit film, I would probably get a job, ignore the film world for 3 years, drive for Uber, get a part-time job on the weekend, you know, uninstall viruses on people's computers and just bust, save up 100 grand or save up 50 grand and then quit for a year.
Make the film.
Then spend a year on just the film, going to everybody, talking to thrift stores and gas station owners, talking to the local franchise owners at hotels. Hey, can I run this film on your TVs? Can I sell it in your lobby? You know, and spend a year, and you probably will do better than spending 3 hours a week on the film or 1 hour a week.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people doing that, and you know what, I'm kind of curious. Do you think you have to have at least one famous person in
No, you don't need that anymore. No, it's over. Those days are over. In fact, famous people can sometimes hurt your credibility because they know you spend all this money on a famous actor. I think it doesn't hurt if that famous actor is actually dedicated to it, you know, but I don't think it's important. The audiences are so split over all of that stuff. Now, do you know that in the last year, from today, in the last year, YouTube has made more millionaires in 1 year than Hollywood has ever made in all time.
Wow.
And I mean, look it up. You can, the numbers are out there. You know, thousands of people become millionaires on YouTube. And those are actors. Those are actors. They're literally acting for the camera on YouTube. Yeah, maybe they're cooking low carb meals, or maybe they're showing you how to fix an outlet in your house, but those are actors in front of a camera talking to an audience. We just have to change our opinion of what success is. Maybe you should be an actor on YouTube, changing outlets in your house to raise money, so that way you finally have an audience to show, hey guys, hey, my audience of 100,000 people watching me make low carb recipes, I'm going to make a movie. I would love for you guys to watch it now that I have 100,000 followers.
Right.
We do everything the other way, you know? What are you good at to build audiences?
Got it. Now, if somebody just made their first film and they edited it and completed it, would you recommend going to this film festival route or YouTube straight off?
That's a tricky one. Like, if you make a great film, the best thing you can do, which isn't against the film festival's rules, is you can run it for test audiences. You can run it for test audiences. You're not displaying it yet. You're just testing it you're testing edits in front of audiences. And they can't be your mom and your best friend. They can't be your mom and your best friend. They have to be people off the street. And then you have to go and you have to rent a church, and you have to darken all the lights, and you need to put the movie up on the projector, and then you need to stand in the front and you need to watch the audience. And if the audience is captivated for your whole movie, then I would probably say go to the festivals.
Okay.
But you have to have test audiences that you don't know, because they're going to lie to you if they're your friends. Oh, Rita, I love your movie. It's the greatest thing ever. You're such a great director. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. You can pay for test audiences. I've paid people. Come to the church, get $10 a head to watch a movie, and one person will get $500.
Makes sense.
And then I get to know for $1,000, I get to know if my movie sucks.
What do you think is a typical good budget for an indie film? What would you say that a person really needs to go, gather up and, use?
I've never met anyone who's made money on a film under $30,000. Ever. I've met a lot of people who have made films at $50,000 to $60,000 that made money because they made a $30,000 film and then they spent $30,000 advertising. And then I know people who made $100,000 films who made a lot of money because they made a $30,000 film and spent $70,000 advertising.
What are they advertising on? Social media, or what are
Social media. Yeah, driving people to their YouTube channel, driving people to their Facebook page, whatever it is, to get people to watch it and hope that they like it enough that they'll share it with their friends. One ad to a person who loves your movie could be 30 people watching it later. But one ad to someone who hates your movie tells you right away that your movie's, badly edited, or it's bad sound, or it's bad quality cinematography. You'll know right away when you run ads and people come and view it and then they start sharing it. Then you know it's a good film.
Yeah, and are they like driving the people to just look at it for free on YouTube, or are they asking for money to view it?
It could be either. I mean, even the people who succeed on Amazon are running ads to go to your Amazon to rent the movie or watch the trailer. But like, for example, so my friend Randy, he quit the industry, actually. He married rich, and now he quit. But he had a very successful film on Amazon that was, he only ran ads on social media Friday night between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. That's it. He only ran ads on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and whatever. Said the ad showed a little bit of his trailer and said, see more, and they go to Amazon, and there it was, $4.99 to buy it. And literally people were bored and tired and loved the trailer, and they bought his film. But he only ran ads on Friday night, and every week he'd have to wait patiently for the next Friday night.
That makes sense, because they're home, and they want something to do.
They're doom scrolling Facebook, and they see his ad 2 or 3 times. They're like, wow. And then they see it next week, and they see it next week. And they're finally like, I'm going to click. And they're like, wow, this trailer is really good. And then they bought it. I mean, they didn't even know who he was. He had no name actors, literally nobody. It was a low budget film. Maybe he spent 20,000 on it. Maybe he spent 20,000, but he probably spent 30,000 in ads, and then he made $200,000 on Amazon.
Fantastic. So when we're talking like 50,000 for a film, and I know you have to kind of think a lot of that has to go for marketing. How would you break that down for like what you're going to spend on the actors, the cameras, the editing, the sound, and then the marketing? Is it a 50-50 like for marketing?
No. The biggest chunk goes to your director of photography. I'm going to assume that you're the director, unpaid. That's what I'm going to assume here.
Yeah.
You're the director. You're not the actor. If you're the director, you want to make money, do not act in the film. Don't. Be background. Don't be the lead. Horrible idea. You will not. That film will not make money. It will not sell because you're a control freak, and it will show in the final product. So don't act in your own film. So don't get paid in your own film. Pay your DP the most. Rent the lights that he needs, because lighting is cinema. Cinema is literally about a well-lit scene. So the most money should go to that. Camera, lighting, and DP. That's number one. Number two, get talent locked down. You don't have to hire famous actors, but give them incentive not to show up late, not to blow it off, not to ghost you, because your DP is going to be spending 8 hours setting up the scene, and you want them there. You want them sober. You want them not stoned. You want them they want someone who slept well the night before. Give them financial incentive to show up well rested, looking sober, ready to roll, know their lines. So first is the light and camera. Second is the actor. Third is sound. Bad film. People will turn off a badly recorded film within 10 seconds of turning it on. And fourth is locations. Pay for one great location, whether it's a bar or a barber shop or
your studio.
Or my studio. But it has to be a great location. You need one great location and pay for it. And then the rest, even in post, like there's a lot you can do in post with AI now. As much as I respect editors, you can do a lot of that yourself over time. There's no rush for post.
Now, you did kind of allude to what's one of the worst things you can do producing a movie, and that is be the actor and director.
Horrible.
What else do you think is some of the worst things you can do as an indie filmmaker?
I think this is a tough one. A lot of people are going to disagree. You're a screenwriter and a director, so you probably disagree, but write the screenwriter, write the film, and then pay someone to adapt it for the screen. Because if you write a script and try and film it, you have ideas in your head that nobody else can read because they can't read minds. So you have these ideas in your head and they're not coming out in the script. And it causes a lot of delays because you're trying to do something that you see in your head that isn't working because you can't, it's not possible. Everything we see in our head can't be put on film. So write your screenplay and then have someone adapt it. You're going to lose control.
Right.
You're going to lose control, but it's going to be more producible.
Do you think that's worth getting somebody off of Fiverr to do or find somebody else?
I would say network more. Spend a solid year reading people's screen adaptations. There's a lot of writers out there who will adapt your screenplay for $500 and have great stories. You need to read their stories and say, I see this. I see this. If you read your story, all you're seeing is what's in your head. You're not seeing what everyone else sees. So read other people's stories and now say, I see this. And it's a risk. It's a huge risk. It's horrible to give up control of a passion project. But you want to make money on it, it's got to be receptive to the audience. And that means the crew has to believe in it. And that means they can't be reading your mind.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Now, if I was an actor or actress, how would your studio help me out?
Well, one nice thing about my studio is if you're a member, you can come and use the studio the next day for free. So you can book the studio for free within 24 hours of using it. If nobody's booked it, you can book it for free. become a member, get together with other actors and practice. Bring your phones, your camera phones, bring your GoPros. You don't need costumes. You don't need microphones. You don't need sets. Come to the studio with a bunch of actors, get a bunch of free scenes off the internet, practice those scenes, and come to the studio at 2 a.m, at 1 p.m, Sunday after breakfast. Come for a few hours and practice, practice, practice. If you are an actor and you don't practice with other actors every week, you are not an actor. You're an amateur. You have to practice every week with other people on camera of any kind. It doesn't have to be quality. You're not making Titanic. You're practicing in front of a camera with other actors. That's it. And you got to do it every week. And you can't do it with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You can't do it with the dog barking. You can't do it with that fresh ounce of marijuana that you bought. You can't do it with that new Nintendo PlayStation video game that's staring at you. You can't do it when you're going to binge Game of Thrones again. It doesn't work at home. You got to go somewhere that's not home. You got to leave that stuff behind. The studio is a miracle for people who are poor actors, because you literally right now could go to the studio tonight if nobody is there for free with other actors and practice for free. I mean, $0.
That's pretty good. Now, I'm gonna ask a couple more questions, and then I want to give a little more detail on FilmDiner.
Yeah,
Do you have any other ideas about raising funds to make your movie? Because that's, one of the hardest things.
of course. One good way to raise funds is to get on the road, assuming you have a car, and drive outside of your busy town and city, and just go and find smaller towns, beautiful towns with amazing locations, and go to the town and take pictures and email the city council and contact the local business owners and look for a town that would welcome you to film there, and see if you can get them to back you to bring your film there. You'd be surprised what some of these little, podunk towns, these Barney Fife towns are willing to do to get a film to be made to recognize. I mean, seriously, you'd be amazed at what they can do. I'm not saying it's going to work, but it'll get you outside of your shell, out of your little closed off shell. And you'll be able to see that there's more people out there that are interested in your product. When you're at home, your friends don't care anymore. They've heard it so many times. Your family's exhausted. You got to find new people outside of your group, outside of your community. That's one way. Another way to monetize it is hustle. Drive Uber. Shop for Instacart. It sucks. $10 an hour, $15 an hour. But guess what? If you're sitting at home watching YouTube, you could be making $15 more for your film. If it takes 3 years and you only make $15 a day extra, guess what that is? That's $15,000. So the hour you spend every day doom scrolling TikTok, you can make $15,000 in 3 years, and you can make a film with $15,000.
Yeah, and I kind of try and do resale to raise funds,
Right.
and it's not easy. That's another hustle, but it's
a
helped
hustle.
pay for a few things.
Yep. I'm working with a filmmaker right now, and I told him if he raises 30, I'll give him 60. And he's been mowing lawns, cleaning gutters, going door to door, handing out postcards to neighbors, telling them on the postcard, I am trying to make this movie. And I'm so dedicated to this that I will do a better job mowing your lawn and cleaning your gutter. And he's got a regular job, but he's going to raise $30,000 in 2 years, and I'm going to match 60, but he's going to do it. I even printed the postcards for him for free.
Fantastic. Do you guys help marketing? Like if I come in, I make a movie, and I'm helping other people. Do you have people that are really talented with the marketing?
We had someone,
yeah,
and she did an amazing job, but it was thankless, and people kind of used it. So we don't have anyone now. We've talked about hiring a sales agent for the collective, but we just don't have enough members. We would need 500 members to hire a sales agent. And the sales agent would only be able to help the top 5% of members, the top 5% of the best films. So it's hard for like 480 people to want to help 20 people,
Yeah.
And nobody knows what the best films are going to be.
And and it's hard because it's really it's all in the social media today, and if you don't know how to really run a good effective ad, it's difficult. And I've done some of the Facebook, and I'm not very good at it. And there's targeted ads on YouTube, and I'm not very good at that either.
Right.
It's something I'd like to get better at because that's how you make your money.
So we actually, through my Tartarian TV show, we're actually going to be sharing all the marketing secrets for free on the page. We're going to be sharing it on our forum for free. What do we do to market? We're actually going to be giving away the secrets, and it won't cost anything. Just following the page, I'm going to be leaking all of my secrets on marketing. And this next year in 2025, I'm going to create through FilmDiner, I'm going to create an AI that helps you daily on marketing. And it's going to be free for members next year. An AI that helps you every day to do the 3 things you need to do for marketing. So we're going to work on it together.
That's something totally awesome if you can put that together.
You got to do it every day. You got to do 3 things every day, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter if you're sick with COVID. Doesn't matter if your dog broke its ankle. Doesn't matter if you are tired or fighting with your spouse or fighting with your kids. 3 times a day, every day. The algorithm is waiting. And if you skip a day, the algorithm is going to penalize you and say, this person is busy and they're not going to help us. 3 times a day, you have to be active. Every day, marketing 1 product every day. And if you miss a day, Facebook lets you post months in advance. So there's no excuse to miss a day.
Yeah.
You can spend Saturday and write 21 posts for the week and schedule them, and then you're done for the week. But you got to do it. Got to do it. If you're not doing it, if you forget. So my AI is going to remind us all every day to do this and check in. And if you forget to check in, then the AI is going to say, whoops, you screwed up. You just threw away 6 months of work because you didn't do it one day. And one day is enough for your Facebook and YouTube and Instagram marketing to collapse. One day missed is enough for it to collapse.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go over your sites real quick. There's FilmDiner.com. Now
that's the one.
If you go there, you're going to get what the rates are to join.
Yeah.
But your address and a little bit more information is on Facebook.com/FilmDiner.
Yeah. So we don't really market our address. We don't have a manager. There's nobody at the studio. Don't show up. If you want to get on my bad side, show up unannounced. That's the fastest way for me to blacklist you for life, is for you to show up and knock on the door. I get people every day. I get people to show up with their scripts at my door. They literally show up and I'm on production. And it's the fastest way to get blacklisted in the industry. If you want to join, email us through the website. Don't show up. Because we are, that's the one, admin@filmdiner.com. We are busy making films, and we're too busy for people to show up with a script in hand asking us for money. And a lot of people will join in order to ask me for money. That's a bad idea also. You join to network, to make films together, to help each other out. And then when I see that you're active in the community, I will reach out and say, hey, I got a budget. Let's make something. And then be ready. And then be ready. Be ready, because there are members who are literally like, oh my goodness, I don't have anything ready. And I'm like, well, now's your time to shine. Be ready,
Yeah. So let me reiterate. Don't show up. You need to send an email, and you need to coordinate if a visit is necessary. And to learn how to join, you would look at FilmDiner.com.
Yep. Or email us questions. We're always happy to answer
questions. Got it. I did notice that you have a studio day coming up. Is that for members only?
No, that's for everybody. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. I travel too much, and it's very hard for me to get to the studio. I was at the studio today for an hour, which is very rare. Very, very rare. But members will be there, and going to the studio day, we're going to be meeting and greeting. We're going to be cleaning. Someone's going to be scrubbing the toilet. Someone's going to be vacuuming the hallway. People are going to be looking for broken gear. It's a great way to introduce yourself. I generally tell people you get one freebie to show up. It could be a studio day, or you can come when there's a crew filming that allows you to come because you pre-scheduled it. You get one freebie as a non-member. So pick it well. You can wait for me to have one of my meet and greets. I do those about once a month or once every other month. I randomly have a meet and greet when a gig gets canceled. So I'll fly in, land at 2 p.m., do my meet and greet, and then fly out.
Okay, and so again, we want to be respectful. This is a studio where filming is going on, and
Yep.
any kind of a visit has to be coordinated with
Yes.
permission. We need to be
Yes, that's correct.
respectful of
Yes.
people that may be in there filming. We don't want to
Yeah, it's
disrupt the set.
People don't know how fast they get blacklisted from everywhere by ruining someone's film shoot by walking in on a hot set. You cannot believe how many people have ruined their careers forever by walking in on a hot set. In Hollywood and in New York, at FilmDiner, at CineSpace, you cannot believe the grudges people will hold when someone walks in on a hot set.
Or walking in and letting your phone ring off. That's the other one when they're filming.
Awful.
Or
Awful.
talking, they're making a phone call and just being
I can't begin to tell you. I have a list of hundreds of people I will never work with because of them doing that. Hundreds, literally hundreds of people. And I'll tell them, I go, I won't work with you because in 2019 you walked in uninvited with your phone ringing, talking loudly into it. And I'm like, I'll never work with you again, ever. I don't care who you are. I don't care that you're his nephew. Never again will I work with you for being unprofessional. Like, we don't have the budget to lose one take.
Yeah,
we don't.
Makes sense. And like you said, when you have actors that you're scraping up to pay them, and they're only going to be there a certain amount of time, you cannot waste time and waste time on the DP.
Or you pull them out of character. They're in character, and all of a sudden some random guy walks in screaming like he's the next De Niro. Horrible.
Yeah, or banging doors, or
Yeah.
I've had that happen.
That's why we don't make our address so visible, because we don't want random people just showing up.
Okay. Yeah. Again, let's have permission before we show up. Well, I'm kind of at the end of my questions. I think I've gotten everything.
Amazing.
And I would recommend checking this out. I did go with permission. I went to the studio and there was nobody there, so I was able to take a look. And it is interesting because you have different rooms in this studio that you can kind of put up, the way you want. Like, one of them is a hospital room. The other was a jail room. There's
free to use.
A big area for if you want to do a green screen and film in front of the green screen. And then there's some offices if you need that. They have like a tool room. They have a refrigerator if you're going to be on set to put your food and your pop or water. And
we're a legitimate studio. We're not a huge studio. We're not CineSpace, but again, you can rent the studio literally for free if you're a member. Free with everything. Free. It's crazy. I mean, people still say it's impossible, and yet we've been here for 7 years and we're making film every week. And if you want to make a film, we are the place to do it. If you want to act, we are the place to meet other actors. If you want to act, get with other actors, and directors who are members will see that. Directors don't want to hire you unless they see that you're responsible and dedicated. So get to the FilmDiner with your other friend actors and start practicing. And practice and post it to your Facebook. Let people see what you're doing. This is how you get respect as an actor. If you're on Facebook right now posting about Trump and Kamala, directors are not going to be hiring you. If you're on Facebook right now posting, hey, I'm practicing with these 6 other actors, you are going to get recognized for doing that. If you're on Facebook posting about the latest rap album or the latest sports game that's on TV, you're not going to get recognized. But if you're filming with other actors, even if it's low quality practice shots, you're going to get recognized as dedicated to your craft, and you will get gigs. You will get gigs.
And you have some footage to put in a demo reel, which where you're going to get,
exactly.
Unless you got a gig. And
we have sets. We have sets. We have a permanent interrogation room with mirrored glass. It's permanently up there. Go in there with another actor member or two with your cell phones. And film some scenes with your cell phones. I mean, it's a permanent interrogation room. You can make a very emotional scene there in 2-3 hours. You don't need a cameraman. You don't need a sound guy. You don't need a director. Just film as actors. Improv. Yeah.
And it's a pretty big place, and I've been there, and it is nice. And like I said, you need to be respectful because they may have people, filming, and you need to have permission before you come in. and it needs to be coordinated, but it is, if you know, if this can work out for somebody, I would, you know, and you're in the area, this is the place. And you can
I
meet other
appreciate it.
people and network, and you never know where you're going to go. Well, I want to thank you, Adam, for coming on to my meetup today and doing this wonderful interview. I think we're at the end and we have gotten a lot of information. So thank you again. And
Sure.
I'll have to be looking to join and see what I can do. I do have some ideas, but I'm not ready yet. But I've learned
Well,
a lot
come to
tonight.
one of the meet and greets, whether I'm there or not. Come to one of the meet and greets, and people can email me basic questions. Please don't direct message me on Facebook. My inbox is horrible. But the email is much easier because if it's emailed, the right people will get it. I will get it. Multiple members will get it. It's much more productive. Thank you, Rita, so much for having me as a guest. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to listen to it again once it's posted.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to stop recording. Thanks.